is the volunteer orientation agenda. And there is a volunteer orientation packet that has information in it. And there is a spreadsheet that has your assignments in it. And that spreadsheet is actually broken up into two sections. I'm going to escape out of this screen. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So what you have is a spreadsheet that sorts volunteers by date, and it's in chronological order. And then a volunteer by assignment. So it's in alphabetical order by your name. And your names are here in columns G and H. So you would look for your last name and you will see what you've been assigned. Now if you notice this blue box beside your name, that is a flag for us because we are still refining this list, and what that simply means is that we think that you may have too much, you may be over-assigned on your workload. So we're going to look at our schedule and see if we can reduce the amount of sessions or events that you have to be at. So we have a few folks that are like that. You'll see them here. And we've received, since this list was organized, we've had about 5 new volunteers come forward. So we're going to be making some new assignments. So what you have is a draft sheet that gives your assignment by day, time, the overall event or area that you'd be working on, and then the specific event. If it's a study tour or a session or an event, this is in here. And then these boxes over here are simply our flag to see who is busy on what day and what time. So when we finish going through all these, we'll get this back to you. And I would like you to please review this and let us know as soon as possible if you have any conflict in your assignments, because we try to spread this out as evenly as we can, but we may have missed something. So please make sure that you're available on those days and times, and if you're not, let us know. So we'll get into the slideshow. Just kind of a brief background on the information that you have in the packet. There's some detailed job descriptions for each area or each volunteer responsibility or role. There's a sheet that gives the overview of all volunteer jobs. That's on page 4 of the packet. And then behind that is a specific breakdown of every volunteer role at the conference. And we ask that you review this, look at what your assignment is, and then review the appropriate forms. And again, let us know if you have a conflict. We'll be going over all of the information that's in here today. And lastly, at the last page of your packet is what we call our volunteer code of ethics. And okay, I'm going to mute everyone here. It's getting a little noisy. Okay, so there's a volunteer code of ethics, and if you will, please fill that out, send it in. It is a way for you to affirm that you've read this material and that you understand what's expected of you. There's no magic here. It's all pretty straightforward, common expectations of our volunteers. So again, we'll get into that in just a little bit as well. So we're going to go through these slides. This total orientation should take no more than an hour. So feel free to ask questions. Again, I have you all muted. So if you have a question, put it into the chat box and we'll unmute and we can ask or discuss your question. So again, this is the 40th Annual California Preservation Conference. This is the 3rd time that this conference has been in San Diego, and so we're glad to be back. The last time was in 2001. So a little bit about the California Preservation Foundation, and this is the California Preservation Foundation was formed in 1977, and what you see here is our mission statement. We execute our mission through 3 primary areas of activities: through our advocacy programs, through our education program, and through our awards program. And our awards program is actually a split between education and fundraising. All of our events raise funds for the organization, but our primary focus in holding the conference and really in everything that we do is education. And so the conference is our biggest education event of the year. This year we have about 35 sessions, 6 tours, so it's a pretty packed program. The annual California Preservation Conference is, as noted on the first slide, this is the 40th year of the conference, and we do not call this the California Preservation Foundation Conference. It's the California Preservation Conference because we partner with organizations in the areas where we hold the conference. So we have a number of partners this year with this conference, the San Diego chapter of the AIA, California State Parks, the La Jolla Historical Society, the NTC, Naval Training Center Foundation, Rancho Santa Fe Historical Society, Save Our Heritage Organization, USC Heritage Conservation Program, and the Western chapter of the Association for Preservation Technology are all partners. And what that means is they have all helped us coordinate this program and create the programs. They've had a major role in delivering this conference this year. So, though the conference is not called, as I said, the California Preservation Foundation Conference, we are the host, and we're the organizer and the convener of this. So we naturally play a major role in putting this conference together. The typical attendee at our conference is, or actually attendees, we have over 400 of them. This year we expect to exceed that number. The number of attendees really is dependent on the area where we hold the conference, and typically the more urban area, the greater the number of attendees. But it draws a number of interests from around the state, architects, historians, planners, property owners, attorneys. As you see here, there's quite a range, and it goes beyond that as well. But this is a way that we inform people about the current best practices in historic preservation, so we try to reach as broad an audience as possible. There are a number of components to the conference, so if you have the registration brochure or you look at the program when you get it, you'll see it broken out by tracks. And then we have descriptions of workshops, study tours, special events, a number of meetings. And we have an exhibit hall, and we have this year a gift store that SOHO is coordinating. There are 5 educational tracks this year, and the way that the conference is organized is that we create 4 to 5 educational sessions under each track, and 1 mobile workshop. The typical arrangement is 4 sessions, 4 90-minute sessions, and 1 3 to 4 hour mobile workshop. This year we have some extended sessions. I believe from one of our tracks, at least, we have a 3-hour session on climate change. We have some special sessions that fall outside of the tracks. The tracks are theme related, and so everything under, all the sessions under those tracks are related to that overarching theme. But we had some great ideas that we didn't want to let go of, so we did create some special sessions. The workshops are held on the first day of the conference on Wednesday, and we have 2 workshops, a workshop on safety assessment, the safety assessment program by the State Office of Emergency Services, and we have a day-long session on for realtors, a real estate certification program that we've created and are offering at the San Diego conference. So those are our 2 big workshops that we're having on the first day of the conference. The first and the fourth day of the conference, it's Wednesday and Saturday, have study tours. Now, study tours differ from mobile workshops in that they are either half day or full day. A mobile workshop is typically 3 to 4 hours, and study tours do not fall within those themes, those track themes. They're really meant to get people into the community to look at some of the special and unique things that are happening in the area. And so we have 6 tours this year. and those are all listed online. And all of our programs, workshops, tours, educational sessions, qualify for continuing education. So we offer continuing education units through 4 professional organizations, including the AIA, ASLA, AICP, California State Bar, and I think that's it. Certified local government commissioners can also get continuing education units to our programs. Special events are held on every night except for Saturday. So we begin the conference on Wednesday, and the opening reception is held that evening. On the second day, Thursday, we open with the plenary session, and then we close the second day with the 3-minute success stories. We also have the President's Circle reception on the second night. And then on the third day, Friday, we have our annual membership meeting at noontime. That will be at Stone Brewing Company. And we are closing the conference with a reception on the Rose Garden and Terrace at the Naval Training Center. There's also a get-together on Wednesday evening called the Emerging Professionals Reception. It'll be held at Slater's 5050 at the Naval Training Center. There's meetings at the conference. We always hold the State Historic Resources Commission meeting during the conference. The State Historic Building Safety Board meets at the conference. The National Historic Landmark Stewards meet. And I think those are the 3 big meetings that we have at the conference. Additionally, we hold meetings of some CPF committees. Our education and advocacy committees will meet during the conference. So we will have some exhibits at our exhibit booths in the conference center, and Save Our Heritage organization will have a gift store. We used to hold an auction and had a bookstore at the conference center, but we no longer do that. So a little bit about the conference itself. It will be held at the Naval Training Center, and the conference headquarters are at the Macmillan Companies Event Center at Liberty Station. There is a map in your packet of Liberty Station, so you should take a look at it and familiarize yourself with that. All educational sessions are held on this site. The conference headquarters is there, and all tours depart from this site. And this map that is in your packet is also in the conference program book. So if anyone should stop you or ask a question when you're volunteering about location of a site, you can refer them to the map in the program. And also in the registration or the conference program, all room or session locations are indicated with the session descriptions. So they're not on the conference at a glance, but they're beside each session description. The registration desk, again, is in the conference center, and the conference center will be open during these hours from Wednesday, the 28th, 8 to 5:30, and actually those are the hours of operation on all 3 days of the conference, Wednesday through Friday. Saturday, we're holding 2 day-long tours, and people will meet where the buses leave, and that is right at the Naval Training Center at our registration area. Outside, there's a semicircular driveway adjacent to the building, and that's where folks will leave for tours. There's some important information for all volunteers. You need to check in to the volunteer desk in the registration area to get your badge. You'll need to wear your volunteer badge when you're working. We also have a little brightly colored badge that says Ask Me, and that is so people can quickly identify you as a volunteer. So if they have questions, will come to you and ask you a question. If you don't have the answer, you can refer them to a CPF staff member, and you will have a list with all of our cell phone numbers. That's you'll have my number, my husband, who's our AV tech guy, and John Haber, and Benita Brown, so you'll be able to get a hold of all of us. You'll have our numbers You must sign in and you must sign out and return your badge at the end of your shift. And you receive, in exchange for your time, complimentary sessions that are equal to the amount of time that you serve. So if you can only work on one event, we will track the amount of time, and then that is the amount of time that you can spend at the conference. So, please make sure that you check in and check out. We have some sign-in sheets as well, and we'll have all of that at the volunteer desk that'll be adjacent to the registration desk at the conference center. And lastly, we'll hold a volunteer appreciation party for all of the volunteers that worked at this conference. And so we hope that you will attend. We'll get the date and the place out to you so that you can put it on your calendar. It's our way of saying thank you for the work that you've done. So we're going to get into some of the specific roles that each volunteer will be assigned. So there's volunteers are needed at the registration area, and this is perhaps one of the most important duties or roles, particularly in the beginning of the conference on the first 2 days in the morning. Registration is pretty heavy. We will have all registration material alphabetized and sorted, so we'll have about at least 4 stations where people can pick up their registration material. They'll pick up their packets, and you will give them their registration packet and a conference bag if they're a full-day conference registrant. People who register for a half day, or 1 day, or just for a tour or a special session don't get the conference bag. It's only for the conference attendees who registered for the full conference. You will provide instructions and directions to all attendees. They'll want to know where's their session or where does the bus load. So you'll point them to the particular area. We're going to have some signs out at the conference center or at the Naval Training Center to direct people to the various areas. We have some very large banners that will identify the conference registration area and some of the major activities that are occurring throughout the conference. At the registration area, you will also, whoever is working there or assigned there, will need to assist CPF staff in processing registrations. This year we will have a self-registration area. We'll have 2 laptop computers with credit card processing, so people who are registering on the spot can sit down at that computer and do self-registration, so the folks at the desk won't have to do that for them. We will have to, of course, give them tickets and give them the materials that they need based on their registration, but we're hoping to really streamline the process by doing this. And as always, we ask our volunteers to be polite, and if you run into a problem, again, a question that you can't answer or someone who is a little exhausted and exasperated, you can refer them to a CPF staff person, and we'll be happy to help them. The registration area will also have a volunteer check-in area, and so this is where the volunteers will go to get their materials. So we will have some folks there who will distribute the name badges. We'll organize those in advance. You'll give the packets to the volunteers and make sure that they check in and out, and you'll need to notify CPF staff or the volunteer chairs if any volunteers are missing. Your volunteer chairs are Krista Vregel and Sharon Singleton from San Diego, and they've done a great job in helping organize our volunteers and making assignments. So they'll be in the volunteer area, and if we have some no-shows, we'll need to know where they are so we can find someone to replace them. Anyone who is working on an event or tour, a mobile workshop, or a session will pick up a session packet at the conference, the volunteer check-in area. This is a packet that you will then take to the room or the bus or the event, and in that packet you will have the speaker tent cards that will be put on the table for all of our speakers, all the evaluation forms, The continuing education check-in sign-in sheets, our evaluation forms, and for the events and the tours and the mobile workshops, you will also have a guest list. That is your backup, because normally when people go on these special events, they're ticketed events, which means that they have to pay for them in advance. They will either have a paper ticket, or something we're starting new at this conference is people who pre-register for events and register for the conference, not just special events, but register for the conference and special events, will have their events that they've paid for listed on the back side of their name badge. So it's important that all conference registrants and attendees wear their name badge. That is their ticket not only to the conference itself, all the sessions, but it's also their ticket to special events, and they'll be listed on the back. And we'll go over that in a little bit. But I want to make this point, is that wearing a name badge, both by volunteers and by conference attendees, is very important, because if someone does not have a badge, they need to go back to the registration area to either have a duplicate badge made or to pay a registration fee. So our mobile sessions, special events, tours and sessions, again, as I said, will all have session packets, and these are the materials that are contained in those packets. I just went over it, but they're all listed here. So the registration lists are in there. We do not have registration lists for sessions, because people do not have to pre-register for a session. They can go to any session that they want that is part of the conference. Anything that is a special event, again, a tour or mobile workshop, requires a ticket. The plenary session does not require a ticket, but everything else does, and those are designated in the conference program and on the registration form with a T. That means that people have to prepay for those. So anything that has a registration list will be associated with payment and people who have paid in advance. The packet has a continuing education sign-in sheets. These are very important. So when you get a packet, you take it to the room or the place where you're going, a tour, a mobile session. You need to take that continuing education form out and have it available for people to sign. The continuing education cannot be, or continuing education units cannot be offered or cannot be validated unless they sign those forms, and they have to put down their license number for their AIA, ASLA, or AICP certification. So again, those are very important to have in each session and have them out for people to sign. The evaluation forms are in there. They're half sheet, 5-item forms that we ask all attendees to fill out for every session and event. These are very important, because this is how we kind of measure our performance to see if people like certain sessions. It helps us with our planning. It helps us actually throughout the year. We know what people like, what they don't like, how we can improve. So for us internally, these are very important for us to collect. So those are handed out usually at the end of the session and collected at the end of every session. Speaker tent cards are in the packets, and they are cardstock, folded in half lengthwise, and they are placed on the head table for all speakers and moderators. Timekeeper cards are in the packets, and they simply alert the speakers to their time, to when their time is up, when they have 5 minutes left. Usually the moderator keeps this, because they are more in tune to the session planning and know how long each speaker will be speaking. So we would give those time cards to the moderator. If you're working on a tour, the packet has a tour sign. There'll be 2 tour signs in there. One goes on the bus in the window, and the other is for the tour volunteer to hold up so that the attendees know where to gather. The tour sessions and mobile session schedules will be in that packet, and those are the itineraries for the bus drivers. They will receive them in advance, but we'll put those in the packet in case for some reason something is lost, so we'll have those itineraries in that packet as well. Speaker bios, we don't put speaker bios in the packet anymore. We leave that up to our session moderators to collect in advance. It just became too many cats to herd to get these bios together, so those are no longer in the packet. The contact sheet is the sheet of all of our phone numbers that will be in that packet, so if you have a problem, you would just give us a call. And then the volunteer instructions will be in there. There's a lot of information in those packets. So if you are volunteering for a mobile session or a study tour, you need to review the tour or mobile session description that you are monitoring. The conference program will go online today. That is a PDF of the printed program, so everyone can look at it. It's the most current conference schedule and descriptions that we have. In fact, it just went off to the printer today, so it is hot off the press, so to speak. And you can read that, and again, just familiarize yourself with the content. When you arrive and you pick up your packet, you want to go meet your mobile session leader out at the bus. And again, hold up the sign so the tour attendees know where to meet. Greet attendees and check their name badges and their tickets for valid entry. If someone comes and they don't have a name badge or a ticket, you check the list that will be in the registration list that will be in the packet. Now, I just said that the name badges are quote, taking the place of tickets, but those are only for people who pre-register and register for the whole conference. There are some folks who are coming just for tours. And so if someone is coming just for a tour, they're going to have a ticket. They won't have a name badge. And so they will need to present you with that ticket. But again, your final back check is that list of attendees that will be in the packet. If someone insists that they pre-registered and they're not on the list, either give us a call or send them back to the registration area and we'll clear it up for them. Your role as a volunteer at a mobile sessions or study tour is to help keep the group together. So you'll be working with the group leader, and your job is usually meant to kind of corral people, keep them on track, make sure, do a head count, take tickets, or check people when they get on the bus, check when they get off the bus. A lot of the same things that you have to do in the sessions you'll have to do here, and that is hand out the evaluations. You'll hand out or have ready the sign-in sheets for continuing education. And as always, be helpful and polite. Answer questions that you can, and if you can't answer them, refer them to us. At the end of your session or mobile session or tour, you collect all the information, all the evaluations, the sign-in sheet for continuing ed, put it in the packet, and return it back to the volunteer desk. Now, I say packet, these are in big manila envelopes, so they will have on the outside a big label that gives the location, the date, the time, the title of the tour or mobile workshop that you'll be volunteering for. If you volunteered for a workshop or an educational session, again, familiarize yourself with that session. Go online, look at the program. We have descriptions up there now. Those are the first generation descriptions, so as the program goes up, you'll be able to see not only the descriptions, but all the speakers that will be at each session. Just familiarize yourself with those. Pick up the packet at the volunteer desk. You help set up the speaker tables, and that is that you'll put the tent cards out, and the speakers can arrange them as they like, but you put them out for them so that the guests or attendees know who's speaking. They can identify them. Greet the attendees when they come through the door. Again, remind people to sign in for continuing ed. Check their name badges, because that is their ticket to the whole conference. If someone walks through the door and doesn't have a name badge, you've got to send them back to the registration to get the name badge or to pay the fees. All volunteers will assist the speakers and the moderators by handing out forms, collecting evaluations, dimming lights, seeking information, etc. So it's at the end of the session, at the end of all sessions, you gather those evaluations, the continuing ed sheets, put them in the packet, and bring them back to the volunteer area. Special events, same drill. Greet attendees and check name badges and or tickets for valid entry. Depending on the event that you're working, most volunteers will be responsible for checking people in at the door. Now, we do have people that come to events that haven't paid and they want to pay at the door, and that's fine. Benita Brown, who is our new office manager, will process all payments for tickets. So we don't ask you to do that, just direct them to Benita. Provide instructions to everyone who's coming in. So for the plenary session, for example, people will just be invited to find a seat. At the opening reception, you check the tickets. There is food, there is wine, so you just invite them to go in. It's pretty obvious. They'll just mix and mingle. 3-minute success stories, however, volunteers may be called upon to help our Tim Brandt, our 3-minute success story MC. So we will find out if he has any special needs, but the 3-minute success story is one of those events where you may do more than just take tickets at the door. Annual meeting is a matter of taking tickets, as is the closing reception. Closing reception is going to be a little tricky because it's outdoors. It's hard to manage the people that come in and out. So we'll have, I believe we have assigned 3 people for the closing reception, and it's a really kind of a matter of making sure that people go through the, that they go past our volunteers to collect their tickets, because it is a paid event. So again, answer any questions that folks may ask, assist people with special needs, and direct attendees to the venue. If you're a tech volunteer, and I don't think that we have yet made those assignments yet. Whoops, let me back up. I think I missed something here. Oh, yep, sure did. So this is our new ticketing procedures. And this is a snapshot of the registration badge. So this is what you will look for. Oh, what's happened there? There we go. This is the, I have a gremlin in my machine. Here we go. This is the name badge. And then this is what the back of the badge will look like. So we will list special events that people have purchased tickets for, and the tours and mobile workshops will be below that. So these will be in clear plastic badge holder with lanyards. And so if someone shows up for an event, they will just flip it over and we'll be able to see what they've registered for. And again, this is their ticket for an event. And this is, again, this is for the folks that have registered for the conference. I want to make a distinction here because people can register for the conference. That is, they pay their fee, they attend the conference, all the sessions, or people can buy tickets just for an event. So we do have some folks that only want to go on a tour, and that's fine. But the folks that just go on a tour won't get a name badge. They'll get a ticket, a paper ticket. It looks like Monopoly money. They're different colored, and it has the name of the event on that ticket. So those are the 2 things that you'll need to look for. And again, this is a list of all of the special events and where they'll be held. The opening reception will be at the registration center. Emerging professionals reception is at Slater's 5050, a sports bar that's about a block away or from the registration center. The plenary session will be at the North Chapel at Liberty Station. All these places are a short walk from the conference center. 3-minute success stories, again, will be in the event center in the conference registration area. The annual meeting will be at Stone Brewing, a brew pub that is at Liberty Station. And the closing reception will be at the Rose Garden Terrace at Liberty Station. The one event that is off-site is the President's Circle reception. That is by invitation only, and that will be held at the Casa de Estudio at the San Diego Old Town State Historic Park. And people will be taking buses. They'll be bused to the site. So volunteers for that event will help direct people to the buses and then get a guest list. There are no tickets for that event. There's a guest list at the door. So our volunteers will have to check those folks off as they come in and then help them get off and on the bus, or get to the bus and off the bus. Our tech volunteers need to be assigned. We don't have any yet, but these folks will help us set the computers and projectors up every morning. And so we have to set up the PA system, the computers and projectors. The cords will be down. They'll be taped to the floor on the first day, and for the next 3 days, it's simply a matter of disconnecting the computer, disconnecting the projector, and putting them in a cart and bringing them back to the conference center. So we will need some help with that. And sometimes we need folks around just in case there's a problem. We've found that over the years the technology has become easier and easier to use. When we started doing this, we needed someone in every room at every session in case PowerPoint didn't work or a projector went down. So it's getting a lot easier. So if you have a special interest in helping as a tech volunteer, please let us know, because this is a very important part of the conference, to set this stuff up early, be in and out of those rooms quickly. Transportation. Volunteers are responsible for their own transportation to and from the site. And if you're assigned to a mobile workshop or study tour, you'll be riding on the bus with the group, so you won't have to drive separately. We cannot reimburse volunteers for transportation or parking, but the good news is that there's plenty of free parking at the Naval Training Center, Liberty Station. So parking is pretty easy. It's in close proximity to the conference center. All buses for special tours, events, mobile workshops leave from Liberty Station. Adjacent to the registration area, there's a plaza on one side, and there's a semicircular driveway on one end of it, and that's where our buses will be parked, and people will leave from there. So it's very, very close to the registration area. And all the venue addresses and maps, itineraries will be included in your packets. Another important role that we haven't fully identified yet are volunteers to help us set up and tear down the conference center. So we need people who can come in on Tuesday evening about 5:30 to 8 to help us stuff the conference bags and set up the registration area. We'll have exhibitors in there and they'll be setting up their booths, but we really need a lot of help to get everything ready for Wednesday morning when folks come in for the conference. So again, if you have time on Tuesday evening, we'd love to see you. We sure could use a hand. And likewise, we'll need help tearing it down on Friday. So we will roll right from the conference into the closing reception. Then we have to jump back into the registration area and get all that stuff taken down, loaded into the van, and drive it back to San Francisco. It's a lot of work. So we could use all the help we can get. And please let us know if you can help with that. And a code of ethics, again, I described that earlier, is that we have a form, if you will, just read it, sign it, fax it back to us. It tells us that you've read this material, that you understand what's expected of you. So we would appreciate you getting that back to us. And we always have a little conference trivia at the end of every session here. I'm going to unmute everyone. You're all unmuted now, so if you have questions, you could ask. But so again, what is the name of the organization that hosts the conference? It's the California Preservation Foundation. We host it. We coordinate it with a number of partners. As I said earlier, we don't call it the California Preservation Conference. It's the California Preservation Conference. Which annual conference is this?
40th.
Yay, it's the 40th. We've been doing this for 40 years. The little sneaky bit of trivia is it's actually 39 because in the first year they held 2 conferences in 1 year. So how many educational tracks are there at the conference?
5.
5. You got it. 5 tracks. Under each track, 4 sessions and 1 mobile session, except for 1 track that has an extended 3-hour session on climate change. What are 3 special event venues?
Stone Brewery.
Stone Brewery. The Naval Training Center, Macmillan Company's Event Center. That's where most of the events will be held. Stone Brewing Company. Yep, Casa de Estudillo. And Slater's 50/50. And where's the conference headquarters?
Macmillan Event Center.
That's right, Macmillan Event Center. And the Macmillan Company is one of our sponsors. True or false? Conference attendees must have paper tickets for all workshops, study tours, mobile workshops, and special events.
False.
You're right. They'll have either paper tickets or a name badge. So, yeah, that's again, a new change this year. So we're going to try it, and if it works, good for us. If it doesn't, well, we'll reboot next year. So we wanted to give it a shot because there's a whole lot of work that goes into putting this together, and divvying up those tickets for all these folks is really tedious. So we'll see how it goes, and we'd like your feedback on this because we are trying a couple of new things. Something that we've done for last year, this year, is we're moving most of our conference events on one site instead of traveling all over our community. It's nice for us for planning. We try to give people the diversity and the feel for our community through the tours, but for planning the event, it sure helps us out. So, at any rate, that I think is it for now. We don't.
If we have specific questions, can I just call somebody to ask, rather than bother everybody, listening in now?
Sure. Give me a call.
Okay. Is the number the same one we called to get into the? Okay.
No, it's not the number you call to get into this call. If you see the screen right now, my number is up there.
Okay, I'm the one that's just on the phone, so I don't have a screen to see.
I will tell you. It's 415. 495. 0349. If you have a question about a session, John Haber can answer your question. If you have a session about your volunteer assignment, I can answer your question.
Yeah, it would be that. So, okay, I'll call you a little later on then.
Great.
All right, thank you.
You bet. Any other questions?
You mentioned that we would have a volunteer packet. Is that something we can pick up ahead of time, or is that what we're picking up when we sign up for our session, or when we go to the session that we're volunteering at?
Okay. There's 2 packets that were mentioned. One is the volunteer packet that you receive by email, and and that describes all the job duties and responsibilities and overview of the conference. The session packets that we described through this presentation is what you pick up at the conference center, the volunteer desk, and you take to the session or the mobile workshop or the tour. It is an actual envelope with material in it, and you will deliver it to the class to be used during that session.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Is there another question?
If I am assigned Monday or Wednesday and Friday, and I'd like to attend sessions on Thursday. Is
Mhm.
that possible for me to do?
Sure.
Do I just check in at the volunteer, or do I check in at the regular?
Check in at the volunteer.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's where all your, all the material and coordination of all the volunteer time and everything will be. So go to the volunteer desk.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Mhm. Any other questions?
As far as the setup goes, are you like assembling a list, or is it more just show up if you can help out?
Well, it would be nice to know who can attend. We've had a few people. Is this Andy?
Yeah.
Andy, hi. I think I got your request or your offer to help. Is that right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did put that down. You mentioned, I don't know, the way you described it, it sounded a little less formal than some of the other assignments.
Mm-hmm. Well, let us know. It isn't less formal. We have not made those assignments, but if you have the time, and if you can help set up a breakdown, send something to us so that we can put it on the sheet, and you get credit for the time that you're helping. So, yeah, I'm sorry if I glossed over that. Yeah, definitely. Just send me an email and let me know if you can help out, and we will get back to you. But we have occupancy of the center from 5:30, I think, until 8. So that is the time when we're going to be hustling to get everything set up.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. And thank you for volunteering, Andy. I appreciate it. Is there any other questions? Well, if you have any questions, again, feel free to give me a call, send me an email. Take a look at that sheet with your names on it. Let me bring it up here. This is the volunteer assignment sheet. Take a look. Make sure that just confirm that, or let me know if you have a problem. As we're going to take this again, I have to add in the new volunteers and make some other adjustments. But we tried to give you what you requested and at the times you requested. So let us know.
Can you give us your email address? It might be easier if I just send you my email.
Sure. It's long. It's really long.
Okay,
So start on the
ready.
left. It's
I'm ready.
Okay. C. Heitzman. That's CHEITZMAN at California Preservation.
Preservation. Okay.
.org.
.org. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Send an email. Go ahead.
When will the updated volunteer list be available?
Well, I want to have that done by the end of the week, Friday. And I'll probably have it done beforehand because this took a lot of time to get it to this point.
That's like a tremendous amount of work. I mean, somebody spent a lot of time on this stuff.
Yeah, we spent an awful lot of time on this, so we have to. We've got to add in some more. The new volunteers, and so we should have it done easily by the end of the week. The hard part's over. Any other questions? Well, I want to thank you again. Thank you again for volunteering. Thank you for helping. It means so much to us, and I'm really gratified because for the first time that I can remember, we're starting to turn volunteers away, which is tough. But, folks are calling and saying, do you still have slots? Can I still volunteer? And we were taking them up until yesterday. So it's great. We're really pleased to see the support. And, again, I want to thank you for offering to help. I look forward to seeing you at the conference. And I'll be there on Tuesday evening with my jeans on, getting everything set up. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.